Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. I'm going to lay out 3 questions. Well, they're 3 runes, and each rune is going to represent a question, problem, or concern that you may have. Today I'm using the bone runes. We don't know what bone they are. We figure they're probably some form of bovid bone. And okay, so there's our 3 runes that are representing our 3 questions. The first question is represented here by Gabo. Gabo is the rune of the gift. In ancient Norse, a gift was always an exchange. It could also have to do with a one-on-one relationship, but it also has to do with an agreement, a decision, basically some sort of goal. So if you have a question about an exchange of some sort, or about a question about, let's say, a decision that you've made or something that you've agreed to, you want to look at question number 1, and that'll be a timestamp number 1. I'm going to put the timestamps in the description at the bottom. Second rune that is representing a question here is Raido, and Raido is reversed. So Raido's the journey rune. Journey really in this case has to do with riding. Raido means riding. So it's basically, it's not just where you jump on a train, there's a set path and you go there. It's basically you are directing this. However, this rune is reversed, which refers to either an inner journey and or the end of a journey. So maybe something for you has ended, or you're thinking about the ending of a journey, or you're thinking about ending a journey. If that seems to be your question, please go to question number 2. That'll be at timestamp number 2. Question number 3 is represented here by Algiz, and Algiz reversed. Algiz is the rune of the elk. In Norse, this actually means moose. Well, it's basically what they call an elk is what we call a moose in North America. It has to do with support and protection. It's reversed, so what it has to do with this question, you're wondering about support, you're wondering about what kind of protection you have, you're a bit worried about it, you feel that maybe you don't have that. It also has to do with independence. Maybe you feel like you're standing on your own for the first time, or that you are worried about that. If that seems to be what your question's about, then please go to timestamp number 3 for your answer. And those are the 3 questions. I will see you at the answers. Hello, welcome. Question number 1. This is the question about an agreement or a decision, or even perhaps a one-on-one relationship. We will see where that goes. That's sort of not the main definition of it, so I'm thinking more along the lines of a gift, an exchange, an agreement, or a decision. And let's see what the runes say. Okay, I'm just laying down some runes to show us what led up to this, what's helping, what isn't going to be helping, remembering that what helps is always the antidote to what doesn't help, and what your next step is going to be. Okay, so leading up to this, there seems to have been a big revelation. This is Dagaz, it's the rune of the day, of the breaking through of the day, so it's of the dawn. And it speaks of things where something has come to light, pretty much. So something has basically burst onto the scene, there's been a big revelation, an aha moment, and now you're like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to have this, we're going to make this decision, we're going to make this plan, and we're going to go forward. What's helping actually is represented here by Yera. Yera means year, it's also the harvest rune. What helps is that as you are working on this, you are actually seeing results, like almost right away. You know what, this could be about a relationship, but basically in terms of just this thing that has happened, this thing that has started, this agreement, goal, decision, things are actually, you're actually seeing the fruits of the labor right away, which is good. You know, it's sort of like incentive to keep going. What doesn't help is this is fairly new ground for you, and there's a worry about things becoming out of control. You really do want to be in control of this. This is your goal, your decision, your endeavor that you're going to be going forwards with. So there's sort of an out of control feeling to it. If you feel like that, don't worry about it too much. Just pull yourself back under the fact that you're already seeing results. It's like, okay, well, I'm already seeing results of this. Yeah. And I'm just pulling a couple more runes to clarify. The reason this is actually helping is that it's sort of assurance that you are on this journey, that you do feel, okay, we are actually on this journey, and it's something you definitely want to be on as per your decision. What doesn't help is that, the more out of control you feel like things are, the more you're going to want to control it. And really, this is a journey. This is basically it's sort of a garden, and you're planting it in. It's a journey you're going on. And the more you get tied up in trying to control all of it, the less it's actually going to happen. So bring yourself back up to where, I am seeing results already. And this is good. This is confirming my decision to go on this journey. What your next step here is actually represented by urus, which is the wild ox. Happy year of the ox, different kind of ox, but it's the aurochs, the wild ox that you saw in the old cave paintings, actually. So this is actually a rune of strength. It's a rune of health and vitality, and this actually is giving you some great strength and really making you feel alive. It's very, very good. Just going to add a couple more runes on this step. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so what's helping you on this point where you actually feel like, wow, this is good, this thing that I've started to do, and it's making me feel really strong and healthy, is that it's really, okay, this is Thurisaz. It's the thorn, it's a giant, it's a gateway, it's a threshold. It's always a challenge, but in this case, the challenge is open, it's upright, and the threshold is open, so you feel that you can move through it, but it's a little bit scary because it's new. But the fact that it's new and it's an exciting adventure is great, and this is actually what helps carry you forward. What doesn't help you at this step is Pertho. This is the rune of the lot box. It has to do with surprises, but surprises of things that are already there. You're worried about, but what about surprises? This is all to do with what's down here, which is the whole chaos thing. Oh, sorry, this is Hagalaz. It's the chaos rune. Hailstorm, and wanting to control everything. So it's the same sort of thing that's dragging you down at this point that was dragging you down at the central issue point. It's just this worry about the unknown, uncontrollables, and basically, if you feel yourself dragged down there, just bring yourself back up to, but this is a challenge. This is something I decided to do, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm going to step through this threshold. Now, the next step here is a little bit interesting. It's Isa. It's ice rune. It has to do with standstill and things frozen. It also can do with clarity. Or it could be doing with things that are ending. So in this case, I'm going to read this as, especially seeing what I've just put down for the what's helping you rune. It looks like on this path, you've had this revelation. You said, okay, we've got to do this thing. It's giving you great strength and health, makes you feel really good. And it sort of ends. It's like a natural ending. It's like winter. What helps you at this point is, okay, you've been basically working hard up until this point. At this point, stop. Lay your sword down. This is Tyr. It's Tiwaz. It's Tyr's rune. Tyr was the warrior god. And it's reversed. So it says basically, okay, at this step, once it's reached its natural winter, just lay your sword down. Stop fighting. Stop pushing forward, and you're good. What doesn't help at this point is you're worried that at this point you're on your own. You're basically, you feel not as supported as you'd like to. If that seems to be the case, if you start to feel dragged down with that and with the whole worry about the unknown, just pull yourself back up. It's like we saw the fruits of our actions. We went through this challenge, and now we don't have to anymore. It's over. It's ended. We're good, and we can stop fighting. We can lay the sword down. I am wondering if this might, for some of you, have to do with a relationship, because I can see how it would scan for being a situation with a relationship. So here you are in this one-on-one relationship that maybe, we're thinking about. You basically want to, maybe, I don't want to say this is a relationship ending. It could be for some of you, where you do the things that you need to do. You start this journey, you cross the threshold, and then now you don't have to fight anymore. So that could be for some of you. For some of you, I can see this being something that's come up in a relationship, where you're going to work on this and you're going to deepen that relationship so you don't have to argue and fight anymore. So lots of messages for lots of people. If it is an endeavor, though, and whatever it is that you were doing in this, what happens after you take it through its natural progression to its winter, where it's over, you don't have to fight anymore? Your next step here is very, very positive. This is Avaz. It's the rune of the horse. It has to do with spirit. It has to do with movement. after this point, then you feel very much more free. You can run around, you can eat apples and grass. No, please don't eat grass. But you'll feel a lot more connected to spirit at this point, which is very, very good. So that is your answer for question number 1. Have a wonderful day, evening, or whenever you're watching this. Take care. Hello, question number 2. So here is the question that was either reversed, the ending of a journey, possibly the journey going inward, but I think we're basically the question, problem, or concern would be about ending a journey. Let's see what the runes have to say. I'm going to pull out some runes around this one. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. And I promise I shuffled these. I'm getting some of the same runes that I got for question number 1, which is really cool, because they always mean different things. And I'm basically pulling down some runes right now to find out, what led up to this, what's going to help, and what isn't going to help, and what your next step is going to be. So, what led up to this was, this is Dagaz. It's the rune of the breaking of the day. It's the dawn. Something basically was revealed, or perhaps it was a completion kind of thing, which led to the ending of a journey. So maybe something was revealed and you're like, okay, I'm done. And you stopped something that you were doing because of this. Or maybe this is basically, ta-da, the end of what was going on, and you are now ending a journey that you were doing before. What helps at this point is that you are actually seeing at this the fruits of your labors at this point. This is Yira. It's the rune of the year. It's the rune of the harvest. It has to do with time, but it basically has to do with seeing the fruits of your efforts, the results of your efforts, and you're already seeing this. So it's sort of like if this was where this was a completion and you've ended a journey because it's done, you now have the results of that, what you did, and you can see that. What doesn't help is that this is Vunyo. Vunyo is the rune of joy, and it's reversed here in the negative line. So there's some perhaps melancholy or sadness about this ending as well. So yes, obviously we're sad about things ending, especially if they were very, very good things. But if that starts to drag you down, there's always going to be some melancholy. Or just bring yourself back to, well, it was still worth it. I still have what I got from it, which was really, really good. The next step on the path is really interesting because having finished what you had done, you're now sort of feeling very chaotic. You feel like you're in this trackless wasteland at this point, and it's like there's hailstorm out and you're cold and there's wolves. No, I'm just kidding. It's like, okay, now what? I have more to choose from than I want. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay. Neat. So what helps at this step after you've ended the journey and you've moved forward, where it just feels like, okay, what now? Because everything's just chaos. What helps is actually, we have Thurzaz here. Thurzaz is the thorn, the giant, the gateway, threshold. It's reversed here, so it's always a challenge. When it's reversed, it's like an insurmountable type of challenge. But in this case, this is what you want. You've perhaps finished this journey that you had been on. You don't actually have anything new at the moment. So what you want is something really, really new and exciting that you can get your teeth into, and they will also engage you and occupy you for the next journey. So that's exciting. What doesn't help you is, this is Algi's, it's the moose, it's the elk, and it's reversed. So you are going to feel kind of like unsupported, unprotected, sort of like you're on your own. This can drag you down a little bit, but if you engage yourself in the new challenge, then things are very exciting. This can carry you forward. I'm just going to throw down a couple more on this line to clarify. Okay, excellent. Yes, exactly corresponding to what we were just talking about. Ooh, okay. Why this doesn't help, why your feelings of not being as supported as you like to, standing on your own, don't help, is that you're worried on one level about what humanity thinks of you at this point. I don't have anything to do. People are going to think I'm wasting my life, blah, 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 blah. Once again, if this starts to drag you down, just bring yourself back up here where you're going to be throwing yourself into a new challenge. Very exciting. And to confirm that, we have Tears Rune. This is Tivaz. Tyr was a warrior god. He was very dutiful, but he was also like pick up and go. So this is basically, you love to be picking up and going, like let's just do this thing. And that's actually where you can throw your energy into it. You can really enjoy it. And your next step is actually a period of stillness. This is Isa. It's the rune of ice. I want to see a little bit more about this. Okay, yeah. There's a point where you're starting this new challenge, and you're going to be giving it a lot of focus. This is Kaunaz. It's the rune of fire, rune of the torch. It's actually reversed, so it's instead of going from a spark to something really, really big, you're going from something big into hard focus, like a laser. So at this point, you're just going to give focus to this thing. It's going to seem like things aren't moving right away, but they are, and you're moving forward with that. What doesn't help is you're still worried about this. You're still worried about your feelings of worth. This is Fehu. It's the rune of wealth and worth. It's cattle, actually, but that's what was wealthy back then. So don't worry about that so much. Just bring yourself back into, okay, let's pick up and go. Let's start this new challenge. I'm going to really, really focus on that. And the next step, just to give you a preview of what that's going to be, the first thing you're going to do when you start the new challenge, and this is going to be your last rune of this little answer, this is Nauthiz. It's the rune of need. It's like the 2 need fire sticks that you rub together to get fire. And what it's saying is that the first thing you're going to want to do when you start this new challenge is really tend your needs, make sure everything's in order, and you will be good to go. And that is your answer. I hope you have a very lovely day, evening, or whenever this is that you are watching it. Take care. Hello, question number 3. We have algae is reversed. So this is, once again, this is the moose rune. This is the elk. It's reversed. It has to do with protection, support, but it is reversed. So it has to do with maybe worries about protection, worries about support, and also worries about being supported and having to stand on your own, worries about independence. So let's see what the runes have to say. I'm going to lay down a few runes. This is going to show you what led up to this, what is going to help you, what is not going to help you, and what your next step is going to be. Oh, there's Hagalaz again. Hagalaz has been in all of the readings in this set, which is very exciting. All right, so what led up to this? We have Ansuz, and Ansuz is the rune of communication, and the communication, the mouth of the god. It's about communication, manifestation. It is reversed here. So what this says to me is that maybe there was some silence that you encountered, or some inner, there could be some inner communication. If it's reversed, it often refers to inner. So you could have had a talk with yourself and thinking about, okay, well, I have to be standing on my own. But I'm thinking, the first thing that came into my head was silence. It looks like you've had a stoppage of communication or lack of communication, and now you're thinking, okay, well, maybe I should just be independent at this point. Maybe I need to be standing on my own because I can't rely on the communication that seems to have stopped. What helps in this point is, this is Hagalaz. It's the rune of, not Haagen-Dazs, it's the rune of the hailstorm. It's chaos, the uncontrolled uncontrollables, the trackless wasteland, although not really wasteland. It's natural forces, it's natural energies, it's things are wild. And this is actually helping you. This is, you're tapping into perhaps your own wild, instinctive nature at this point. Not that you're going to run around and, be that. But it's basically, you're seeing what you have. You're seeing what you have to bring to the table of your life. Because maybe you were relying on this before a little bit too much, and now it's time for you to step into your own self. And so you have to get in touch with your instinctive self. What doesn't help is you can overfocus. You can, if you're stepping into the wild, if you're focusing on only one thing, you're going to miss the other important things. So I think basically, maybe you're honing too much on what happened before. Maybe you're letting that drag you down instead of stepping into your own, which is certainly an issue. I'm going to throw in a couple more runes to clarify this. Okay, neat. So, neat. Yeah, so this does seem to indicate that you're focusing on what came before and really just like fixating on it. And try not to do that. This is only going to make you unhappy. This is Vunyo. Vunyo is the rune of joy. It is reversed in this negative line. So it is saying this is going to make you very unhappy if you fixate on what came before. Just bring yourself back into where you are now, where you're standing up on your own. You're getting in touch with your nature. And what's great about that is that's actually going to help you feel where you are in your place in the world, in humanity. And that's excellent. That's what you want to feel, like you belong and that you're going to find your place. So once you sort of focus on that, your next step is actually a pretty strong step. This is Uruz. It's the rune of the aurochs, the wild ox. It has to do with strength, health, also protection, not so much as Algiz tends to in terms of that, but in terms of, the Uruz. Think of the musk ox where they actually turn their backs on the baby in the middle and they just protect it. But mostly this is just a very strong, inherently strong rune about strength and health and vitality and life and all that good stuff. I'm just going to throw down a couple of runes over that. That's an interesting Sovilo. We don't often see Sovilo looking like that. Usually it looks more like an S. Of course, the original Sovilo in the Calverstone looked like a squiggle. So that's one way to do a Sovilo. Anyway, Sovilo is the sun. It's solar energy. Uruz is a very solar animal. The aurochs, the oxen, are a solar animal. So this is basically you're tapping into your source energy. This all started here when you were tapping into your nature. By this point, you sort of know what gives you energy. And so you're tapping into that source energy. It makes you feel very strong, grounded, comfortable. What doesn't help is you're doing really, really well. You're really worried about unexpected surprises or surprises that were already there, like things that were already there but hidden to you, and then suddenly, oh my gosh, this ruined my day. Don't worry about that so much. Just focus on drawing in that strength from what nourishes you, the solar energy, whatever your solar energy is. Your solar may vary, and this will actually all lead you forward to. We have Raido reversed here. Raido is the riding rune. It's a journey, but it's reversed here. So what it says is whatever this journey was that you were on to get to this point, you've basically ended this chapter. So it looks like you've made a really major step towards your independence, and this is really, really good. It actually will end at this point. Like you'll not your independence. Goodness, no, you're going to continue with that. But your beginning chapter, the introduction, if you will, comes to a nice, comfortable end at this point, and you know that you've done what you wanted to set out to accomplish. That is your answer. I hope you have a lovely day or evening. Take care.